Hey guys, just wanted to do a video on some of my predictions for SummerSlam and talk about a little bit of some other wrestling stuff that I in the news lately. So I can't believe that SummerSlam is this Saturday. I'm recording this on Thursday, so I know we saw SmackDown on Friday, but pretty much all the matches are set. Now, as a kid, I always used to get disappointed when SummerSlam came along because it was kind of like usually they had it like the end of August. So I was like, oh, school was going to be starting soon. So I was always disappointed. I always wondered why they never had SummerSlam like earlier in the summer, like July, or I never understood that. I know WCW had Bash to the Beach, and that was kind of like their summer pay per view. But for WWE, I always wondered why they always, because usually these events used to be always toward the end of August. This time around, it's the beginning. It's August 5th. It's this upcoming Sunday. So let's just go through, what I think of the card predictions and stuff. So let's see what we got here. So we got Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. This is their third match. Obviously, you got to have Cody win this one because this has to be the kind of like the end of the feud. I don't know what they're going to have Cody do afterwards. I'm pretty sure Brock will take his break and will pop up probably during WrestleMania season. But Cody's going to need another program right after leading into the fall. So I'm thinking, there's rumors that Bray Wyatt might return. I think every pay-per-view we hear that rumor. And, I don't know if that possible feud with Cody. Cody needs something to do leading up to, for the rest of the, for the next couple of weeks, months. So I think Cody's going to win the match. I'm surprised they didn't put make this a special match or like a no DQ or last man standing. Right now it's just a singles match. So we got Seth Rollins defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Finn Balor. Now I think this match could go a couple of ways. You could just simply have Seth retain. Nothing against his title reign, but I think for that I sometimes it's just getting a little bit boring. So you could have this is what I think possibilities that could happen. Seth wins the match. Finn Balor goes crazy and just destroys Seth post match. Damian Priest comes out and teases a cash in for Money in the Bank, and Finn Balor prevents him from cashing in, and that will start kind of like a feud with like Finn Balor and Damian Priest, and then we have to find out on Raw what happened and all that. Another scenario could be Finn Balor wins and Damian Priest cashes in on him. I don't think that will happen. I don't think that I have a feeling that they're going to keep the title on Seth. I don't think they're going to have a title switch, but they've been hinting at kind of a feud amongst the Judgment Day members. So I think it would be cool. Part of me kind of wants Finn Balor to win, because I think he kind of deserves it. This is going back to 7 years ago at SummerSlam. But I would prefer Finn Balor to win. Now we got Asuka defending the WWE Women's Championship against Charlotte and Bianca Belair. Obviously, the match that we want to see at WrestleMania, or the match that they should be saving for WrestleMania, is Bianca versus Charlotte Flair for the title. Preferably Charlotte defending it against Bianca. We also have Io Sky. I could see her cashing in on Asuka or something in the match, and that would create more matches later on. You could have Io Sky versus Charlotte, Io Sky versus rematches with Asuka, and if that does happen, you kind of like eventually maybe Charlotte wins the title or something. I don't see Bianca Belair winning it. I mean, I think they would save her win at WrestleMania, and but I could see possibly like a cash in that match. Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso in the Tribal Combat match for the Universal title. I don't think Roman's going to drop the title here. I think if they're going to make him drop the title, it'll probably be at WrestleMania. I just don't see Jey Uso as a champion, like somebody that's going to be able to carry that title. And no offense to him or anything like that, but I just don't feel that it would be kind of disappointing in my opinion. I still feel that Cody Rhodes should be the one that defeats Roman. And I'm not sure how they're going to end this match. I mean, there's different things they could do. They could get Jimmy Uso to come back and turn on Jey Uso. They could do that. They can have Solo interfere. I mean, the ideal plan would probably have The Rock come out, but I don't think The Rock would come back for that. That would be like an ideal, like The Rock, set up Rock and Roman for WrestleMania next year. But we have Ricochet versus Logan Paul. This is probably going to be really a fantastic match. I think Logan Paul will win the match because the last two pay-per-views that Logan Paul has been on, he's lost. He lost to Roman, and then at WrestleMania he lost to Seth Rollins. So I think he's due for a win. And Ricochet, I mean, doesn't really need it. He's getting the exposure now and getting the push now. So I think Logan Paul, if they want to keep him strong, needs to win the match. For the Intercontinental title, we have Gunter defending against Drew McIntyre. I really want Gunter to keep the title. He's so close to breaking Honky Tonk Man's record for longest reign with the IC title. I think he needs to keep it until like September 8th. I could be wrong on that, but I know he needs to keep it an extra month. So the way this match should, I mean, obviously, just have Drew win by DQ or count out or something, but make sure that Gunter keeps the title, and they can have a rematch at the next pay-per-view or down the road, and Drew can win it. But I just feel that they're so close to breaking that record that it would be stupid for him to drop the title now. Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler. That's a match where it's kind of interesting. I think Ronda Rousey's on her way out. She just hasn't been. Is it not the same Ronda Rousey we've had? In the beginning when she first started with WWE, when she was teaming Kurt Angle against Triple H and Stephanie, and even when she came back last year, it's not this Rumble, but last year's Royal Rumble, and she won. I just feel like the steam with her kind of like her stock has just kind of pretty much dropped. It's almost a feeling she doesn't even want to be there. And WWE has made a lot of mistakes with her. They realize that she's not really strong on the mic. She's not really good doing promos. So the smart thing would have been to give her somebody like a Paul Heyman that could carry that load for her. But she does really struggle. I mean, ideally, if you see more promising in Shayna, she's going to be with you. You want to give her the win and probably build her up as a contender against for the women's title. But I think Ronda Rousey will probably win this one. I think she's the babyface in this. But I think Shayna's going to get cheered. I think Ronda's going to get booed for some reason. And it's going to be an MMA rules match. So, and then they're going to have the Battle Royal. And I guarantee they should have LA Knight win that, Battle Royal. Now, again, they took off a lot of matches. They took two women's matches off. Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus is off. I don't know why they took that off. I mean, that feud has been building, and for weeks, months, I've heard that the payoff for the feud was going to be at SummerSlam. So very disappointing in that. And then Rhea Ripley was going to defend the title, and that match is off. The thing is with WWE is they don't really put too many matches on their pay-per-view cards. So right now we're at pretty much 8 matches. I know AEW, maybe maybe WWE back in the day they used to pretty much put every talent they had on the roster on the pay-per-views, and you had like 14 matches. And I think right now they just want to overstack the cards, I guess, and then on their shows. So unfortunately, those 2 matches have to be cut. And it's weird. They don't even do they used to do the pre-show matches. I mean, I'm just thinking here, if any match could go be put on the pre-show. Probably, I mean, that Battle Royal probably could have been on the pre-show, but I think they want to give start the push with LA Knight, so they want to put that on the main show. And I mean, I think that's the only match that would have fit on the pre-show. I don't know why they cut that. Other news: the AEW finally announces the main event to All In. It's going to be MJF defending the title against Adam Cole, and I kind of figured that was what they were going to be going with. I was actually hoping that they were going to do MJF against CM Punk for the one, the winner becomes that one true champion. So that's not the direction they're going in. I have to say that they're going to have to do something like it looks like right now that MJF is going to be kind of like that baby face now, or in between a heel and a baby face. And they've done this before. They did this about last year before he got the shot against Jon Moxley for the world title, and they kind of hinted at him being like turning into a baby face, and then it didn't happen. They kept him as a heel. I'm not sure if he could do this again. Right now, yesterday when he came out on Dynamite, he was getting cheered, and he was kind of like giving kind of like almost like a babyface promo. I don't think they can do it where like at the pay per view he turns on Adam Cole or cheats to win or something like that. I just don't think that would work. I think what they should do now, they kind of hinted at it last night when Roderick Strong was watching the monitor and backstage, and he was confronted by the Kingdom, Michael Bennett and Matt Taven. If you're not too familiar, Matt Taven and Michael Bennett and Adam Cole were a group called the Kingdom in Ring of Honor. So this was kind of before Adam Cole joined the Bullet Club. He had that group with him. So I'm thinking possibly they could have Adam Cole turn at the pay-per-view, and that group could help Adam Cole win the match and become the champion, and he's a heel. And they could have some return matches with MJF. And I think Adam Cole, in my opinion, is better as a heel than a babyface. If you just watch some of his stuff in Ring of Honor from like 2012 to 2016, and even his stuff at NXT, he's really suited as a heel. I just think he's better as a heel, and just having him be head of a faction again, and then if they do have him with the Kingdom again with Roderick Strong. And and they have let me think a few down the road with like maybe the Elite, and all that stuff. I think that would work out, and I think they got to do something to, right now that's the only match announced. Looks like they might be doing Jon Moxley and Orange Cassidy. I mean, I think they've been hinting at that. Probably something with Darby Allin, AR Fox, and Swerve. But, that's going to be in a couple of weeks, so they really have to start cranking some of the matches for that. The last thing I want to talk about is Vice did their latest episode, Dark Side of the Ring, with Bash to the Beach 2000. Highly recommend, if you didn't check it out. It's really interesting. I've always been fascinated by that, but by that. I always wondered, if the plan was to put the title on Booker T, why didn't they just advertise, build the pay-per-view, it's going to be Booker T versus Jeff Jarrett for the world title? I just don't understand why they didn't do that, because Vince Russo mentioned that he went in the booking committee in the meeting. They did a thing. Who do you think deserves to be the WCW World Champion? And everybody kind of voted. He said everybody unanimously said Booker T. So he said, oh, okay, now I want to make Booker T the champion. But I thought, so it's kind of weird. And why did they do Hulk Hogan versus Jeff Jarrett? Why were they building that as the match? It doesn't make sense to me. They could have had Hulk Hogan do something else. They could have had him feud with somebody else, but they had that match. And my thing would be is, okay, the next pay-per-view after it was called New Blood Rising. That was the August pay-per-view. My idea would have been, have Hogan win the match. Have Hogan win the title. And then you could work at Hogan and you say, okay, well, we're going to have you win the title. Next month at the pay-per-view, we want to want you to drop the title to Booker T. I don't know if Hogan would go for it, whatever. You might convince him or something like that. But that would have been a really interesting main event for New Blood Rising, kind of like passing the torch to Booker T. Now, Hogan did, did the job to Goldberg 2 years earlier. So maybe they could have convinced him to drop the title to Booker T. That, in my opinion, would make more sense. And I know they talked about Hogan's contract. They couldn't afford to use him, but I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Like I just didn't really understand. And then I say like you advertise a match, people buying the pay-per-view to see Hulk Hogan versus Jeff Jarrett, and then you don't have the match, just have Hogan lay down. So, or no, I'm sorry, Jeff Jarrett lay down. Hogan lay down at Halloween Havoc against Sting, which they never really explained. But that's what I would have done. I mean, have Hogan win the title, and then you build. You know, you could have Booker T. You know, on the next night, you know, they could have like a battle royal for the #1 contendership, and Booker T could win that, and you know, and could have a whole month, you know, like build up towards New Blood Rising, and then he would have beat Hulk Hogan. But then you had to have something else for Hogan to do. You know, it's like the creative, like, okay, you just gotta, you know, make sure you have, you know, and it was 2000. You got to remember, you know, Hogan still had a little bit left in him, because, you know, he would go on to, you know, in 2 years later, he would go back to WWE, and, you know, he would have that, you know, it was a short run, but, you know, against The Rock at WrestleMania 18, and the crowd, you know, I mean, he still had a little bit left, you know, in the tank. But that's my thoughts on that. So we got SummerSlam this Sunday. Looking forward to it, and I'll be back with another video hopefully soon.